Hey, ladies and gentlemen, it's time for some more Cosmonarchy. Hope you guys are having a good week so far. We are entering into the midpoint of that week, if you don't count the weekend. And honestly, why would you? I mean, even if you count the weekend, if your week starts on Sunday, then it's still the midpoint. Isn't that cool how that works? Anyway, we got a little bit of a return to form here. Sosij and ThunderSlaps going at it on acid test again. We're doing the run back. We'll see how good this particular matchup is, and I like that. I like being able to see the same two players do some gaming. Back on when I was still uploading to TikTok, we actually had Odorless, homie from New Zealand, playing against Sosij, and there was some PvZ there, and I thought those were really cool matches because we got to see one match where Sosij beat Odorless, and then another match where Odorless beat Sosij, and it was pretty interesting to see that back and forth and stuff. So I look forward to seeing some more between, I guess Sosij is just going to be the PvZer for the new guys or something, I don't know, but I look forward to seeing stuff like that. So welcome, ladies and gentlemen. We have Sosij in the bottom right of Acid Test as the Eggshell Blue Protoss, and ThunderSlaps is in the top right as our Neon Carrot Zerg, and he's going hatch first. Cannoli alert! Somebody sound the cannoli alert! Got a 2-gate here. I'm sure it'll be a while before we see Sosij take an expansion. And yeah, we'll just have to see what ends up going down there because I like the way that this is looking. We got a pool coming. We got the scribe hanging out. We got Sosij being... Oh, okay, being very cheeky. Okay, so the pylon, unlike in Starcraft 1, is a like a 2 wide by 1 tall structure. But you can use that to make very watertight situations here. So you could see him put another pylon there, yep. And then all he would really need to do is probably put one right here, and then he's fully blocked. So Keck, he drops a Keck. There's some typing earlier, I missed it, so you guys can comment about it later if you feel like it. Let's see how this one goes, because the pool is almost done. But you are going to need to access those ranged units pretty quickly here. Now, Quasilisks do exist, so that part isn't too bad. But there's no Circuit coming, and even if there were, it would be heckled by the Legionnaires. So Sosij is pretty well planned this, I feel like. And you kind of have to worry about multiple fronts here, because you can't really target the pylons down, because there's 2 of them. Droleth is going to get bopped, absolutely devastated. We'll see how that plays out over time. We got more Legionnaires moving their way forward. And yeah, as of right now, he's just adding more static defense to his main base, seemingly giving up the natural, which I don't know if I like that as much. I feel like you probably need to keep that alive. But as you can see, this Warden will make that pretty difficult. The Zetracors are going to just choose to ignore the Legionnaires, which I really like. And suddenly, this structure is going down a lot less quickly, right? He's trying to egg camp here, which is an interesting choice. I feel like just going after the hatch is probably a little bit better. But he does still pop one of the pair of Zets, and so he'll only lose like 1 Legionnaire here, it looks like. Well, he could actually lose multiple, but no, okay, there was no focus fire there. Meanwhile, the 4 Zets have made it across the map. There's a Warden halfway complete, and 3 Legionnaires here to try to riposte the attack, so ThunderSlaps in a lot of trouble. ThunderSlaps in a little bit of a pickle here. We'll see how this matchup resolves, because I see double Larvosk. He's got okay larva production here despite losing the hatch, but his opponent also invested a fair amount of resources into this. It was a 3-gate, there's no expansion, so, you know, like, overall, I would say this isn't too terrible for the Zerg player, but he is down by 11 workers, so it's not great. It's just not, he's not as dead as maybe people would immediately think. Let's see if he can make a meal out of it. Second Warden being put down. Yeah, on Cosmonarchy, if the Kagra generator, the creep generator, is actually destroyed, you can build on top of it. You don't need to worry about it. Or if it's an allied generator, then you're good there as well. So just kind of cannon creeping forward, but I love that, you know, ThunderSlaps is basically just ignoring this, and he's like, yeah, whatever, I'm not going to bother fighting you there. I'm just going to come in over here and push. He should have been on an attack move because he would have caught all the extra Legionnaires that were made, and now his army's getting skewered. He's got some more quads coming out. He could just stand and fight. 6 quads beats these wounded Legionnaires pretty easily, but he wants to fight with his Zets as well. That's fine. Sosij struggling on the micro there, or on the multitasking, I suppose. He's just trying to respond to this. Those 4 Zets from earlier also managed to make it out, so this is actually a pretty potent force. Obviously, we got a lot of Legionnaires, right? There's 11 Legionnaires, more coming out versus the Zerg units that are quickly falling. And ThunderSlaps just looking for a little bit of counter damage. He's waypointing more units across. I feel like they're all going to fall flat before they can actually get to where they need to go. There's a lot of Legionnaires, guys. The Legionnaire menace. It was Shambler. Now he's playing Terran instead. Going after a couple of these guys on the back end, waiting for those reinforcements to link up. But it's not a critical mass of Quasilisks. And I don't think that Zetracors are particularly scary for the Protoss here in this situation. Down he will go, just waypointing more and more units off of 9 Droleth and still having a lot of money for float. He can throw down another hatch, and maybe he will. He's actually sending a Droleth away. I don't know what that's for, but we will find out. Obviously, Oh, okay, he's going to take the 2 o'clock. That makes some sense. Oh, yeah, and this is a much better position. Those Zets need to get activated on the other side. Yeah, this is way, way better for the Zerg now. You can tell that the Legionnaires are having a hard time. An excellent surround. Beautiful surround there. There was a really sick micro trick Sosij could have done where he attacks his own unit with one Legionnaire, and then the other Legionnaires that are stuck being body blocked can port to that Legionnaire guy. So that could have been pretty good, but he did not do that, so they all end up going down. And yeah, I mean, a little bit scary now for the Protoss. He's definitely in some trouble. Very interesting matchup so far. This is definitely not like how our PvZs normally look, so I appreciate that part. And this ball of Quas is going to chew through all the Legionnaires pretty quickly. And honestly, they're pretty good against Hierophants now as well. You do need to take some fighting retreats. And the Zethicors are going to be chewed through. It's Drakadins coming, though. That's going to be a lot harder for the pool units to deal with initially. You can see him initially trying to go after that gateway. I don't think that's a good move. And now the attack speed increase is going to come in, heralded by the voice line by the Hierophant, proudly proclaiming that this is the fate of all fools, to die in my base. And Drilleth. Proxy hatch. Make Lucy proud. It's not going to happen, guys. That was not intentional. That was a mistake. All right, we got a saturation attempt, as Sosij has been dutifully producing workers this entire time. And the Striders are out. No further Legionnaire will be made, and now we have the Nexus coming. Okay. He's still got some control over here in the natural. I don't know. Like, he's got vision of units leaving, right? So I don't know if he spotted that it was Droleth or if he just thinks it's more military units. But either way, it's an interesting position. I'd love to see this Droleth expand, like, down here somewhere or whatever. That'd be pretty neat. All right. Circuits on the way. I mean, let's see. Like, ThunderSlaps can be in a pretty good spot. This base is easy to hold because of the high ground and the static defense and the ramp and stuff like that. It's fairly easy to hold versus the gateway compositions. Typically, you have, like, ardent authorities and stuff. Oh my god, what is this weird Gates of Hell thing going on from Sosij? He does not want the Zerg to be walking into him later. But his Drakadin Scout is now going to reveal that there's some trickery afoot. There's an extra base. He thinks he's ahead of the expansion timing. He is not. Zethicors pile in up the ramp. Quas are going to be moving in that direction as well. This does leave his main base undefended, but he's got a lot of larva production there, so he's not necessarily in a huge issue there. Now he's going to see if he can just attack the enemy Protoss. I don't think this is what you want to do with your pool units. He's making Izira cores, which aren't bad to soak up damage, but he needs a massive Hydras. In fact, if he just decided not to make any Izira cores and instead made Hydras, I would feel a little bit safer for him. Hydras can also be pretty useful at dealing with these pesky Wardens that are multiplying as we speak. Sosij wants to start creeping them forward and taking pot shots at the enemy units. I think the Izira cores are beefy enough to ignore the initial Wardens and just go after them. Oh, look at that. Some of them can even attack without being attacked back, so that's pretty good. That's one of them going to get canceled. Yeah, cancels all of them. Maybe it could be slightly premature, not quite sure, but now the Striders are here. So the pull units can get activated. If the Striders cannot micro, the pull units suddenly become a lot better at dealing with this force. A lot of quads just got made. And we have that Calcure Lake on the way. ThunderSlaps could be going for Lyrilisks here. And I love that he's catching reinforcements as well with the pull units from his natural expansion at 2 o'clock. Unnatural, that's what we'll call that. His unnatural has birthed a number of units, including some Izira cores that are going to be helpful in this fight. And you can see Sosij is getting the runaround. This is a very difficult situation for him to be in. The Quas keeping pace with the Striders due to their passive and pushing a little bit further forward, a little bit of DPS here and there. There's no armor pen on this fight at all for the Zerg army. So they are still struggling to do a good job versus the Striders, but you're still not seeing, them covered in glory. Now, all of these Wardens did end up finishing. It's a huge change of pace. Now, he can't really fight that with the units that he's got. He needs Hydra Ball or something to deal with that, and he's going to descend upon the Gates of Hell that have been built by the Protoss. A spread from the Striders, more of them coming down the ramp. I don't think he's going to be able to deal with the Wardens, and the attack speed increase from the Hierophant, even increasing the efficacy of the Wardens in the process. Pretty deadly. A huge gore pile at the natural ramp as the Zerg flood back to the unnatural. But the Calcure Lake is done. I mean, a lot of Quads were killed, so it's not great. Ski back on the way. 2 o'clock. 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 2 o'c Well, he's got a lot of minerals, not a lot of Vespi. He hasn't been mining over here. Really needs some extra larva production over in this location so he can, or an Ovoleth or something to ferry more Droleth. But ThunderSlaps does play with low workers a lot of the time. I am noticing. Feels like Sosij might have claimed control of the game, but if we get Calculisks, Lyralisks, Hydralisks, any sort of Lisk there, is there a besides Quasilisk? Any Lisk besides Quasilisk I think will be good. Even Lakis would be pretty good here. But yeah, definitely an interesting situation. The Khazitra is going to come online, make this unnatural, really difficult to clear. He's taking another base over at the 10 o'clock. Not what you would initially expect for his third base, but you know, that's just the way this game has gone. Really stewing on that one. Grand Library, 3 of them, and soon everything will be powered by a Crucible, increasing its production rate. Got 1 Hydra and trying to path over here, regrettably. It will get wasted, I think. Well, it was good until he microed it. At least that's what it looked like he was doing. All right. Bactylisks are being made. They can range them down from afar. You can pretty much initiate this whenever and start chipping away at him. He's making some more of them from there. And the Calculator Lake is done, but he hasn't actually leveraged that yet. So you see Sosij is realizing maybe he can just make an angle to attack the unnatural while the Bactylisks are slowly chipping away at the Wardens. And by the way, Sosij is Peruvian. Don't ever let him kid you. He might have really good internet, but he doesn't. Got him. Devastated. Annihilated. Destroyed by facts and logic. A Bulwark is here to try to extend play. I like it. But you're not going to break the Khazitra, I don't think. There's not that many Hydras, admittedly, so the Amaranths could get a lot of value here, potentially, but they just can't. Oh, man, that Droleth body blocking as well. I don't think that was intentional, but it's stopping the Khazitra from being focused down. Hold on. Sosij commits to it. He tries to kill it. All of his front line is basically dead now, but there's not that many combat units actually being made here. This might be enough to destroy the unnatural. We've got a prison break. We've got a prison break. All the Zerg units pushing out of their main base, and it looks like this might be enough to clean that army up. He just needs to make a decision as to how he's going to do it. And every last static defense structure worth its weight in gold, in minerals, in rich minerals. And it looks like that will be the end of Sosij's attack force. He did actually break him. He did actually break him, but he was broken in return. Unburrowed, get back to mining, maybe remorph those defenses later. Hasn't quite broken this whole position, though. You'll note that. Just trying to cycle forward. The Amaranth's finally falling on the front. There's more where that came from. Sosij actually, he's chasing after units that are attacking his 4 o'clock position, that third base. But do we have any mining over here? No, 10 o'clock not mining for ThunderSlaps. He has lost control of it. 2,000 minerals in the bank, by the way. Just needs more larva. Just needs hatches. Build more hatches, buddy. Trying to mass up his defense, see what he can do. No worries there so far. We've got the, obviously all of those Kagrins not quite being used just yet. Another Larvosk. He's really stubbornly not making hatch, even though he's low on gas. I'm interested in that. Could elevate his play, I feel like. He's going to stick most of his attack force into that base. Is it a bait? He's only got 4 Hydras for a flank, as the Protoss are trying to sink their phase blades into the Bactyls in the back. And there's just no front line here. The Zethicors are diving onto the workers. That is forcing Sosij to make some awkward micro decisions. More Zerg units exiting the main base. And he's actually got a bunch of quads kind of stuck over here because of the temple pathing. It's mostly Amaranths now. There's only a small handful of Zealots left over. And I'm sure he's like, why aren't they doing anything? Yeah. Structures are not considered for path planning around when trying to make decisions about where to go. Obviously, in StarCraft 2, they changed that, but it's worth noting that in StarCraft 2, it's a little bit tricky because you can still use it to metagame, to map hack, basically, like Reapers trying to spot if they can go up a ramp or whatever, or a Reaper cliff. Oh, they can't because there's building blocks in the way, right? So you don't actually need scouting. Your unit automatically figures it out. All right, Hydras are on the front line. The Azericors need to be there. Big Psystorms coming in and blanketing the Zerg army. This has been a banger of a match. I feel like ThunderSlaps might be running out of steam just mostly because he can't get rid of this ridiculous containment that's been set up in front of him. Unbelievable. Well, it still seems like overall there's a little bit of a run-by of pool units there that had to be taken care of. The one Amaranth shouting victorious in death perhaps. And now maybe he will realize I need to kill the temples or path plan around it. Manually. Nope, he hasn't figured it out. He doesn't come from StarCraft 1, so that makes sense actually. Could sink his teeth into the Cantavis. One of them goes down. The focus fire not quite there just yet for the others, although that storm was actually doing some friendly fire. The Amaranths are happy to laugh at the Zerg attack, shrugging them off as they shoulder the burden. We don't have any clearing of over here. We even have an engram adding into this. Like, what a ridiculous outpost that has been made. Yeah. The Bulwark saved it. The Bulwark did so much, honestly, to that base. Wild. All we need, all we're missing here are artisans. You get some artisans over here, it's insult to injury, you know what I mean? Alright, he wants to go after the engram, but it is pretty powerful. Asiliants have been added. We haven't really been keeping tabs on the tech, but triple unitary on 3 base makes total sense. Sosij happy to just brawl out. He doesn't always go for the endgame tech. I think you... Oh my... Yep. That's a wall, all right. Man, this game was meant to be cast, and they didn't even tell me about it. I had to go find it myself. This is an outrageous experience. Well, he's going to double back to his unnatural, but his units... Oh, they're still slipping by! The wall was a little bit incomplete. Sosij's like, wait a second, what? If he just leaves his scribe there, he would actually be fine. Let's see if he can break forward, because Etrith has been reestablished in a safer position. And now his army is under attack from the western flank, but I feel like he's got enough to, remove this. A hallucinate as well to multi-proc the Asilian projectiles. Oh, that is glorious. They have that infinity bounce thing that they can do. Trying to tear through these pylons. The Iziricors can't get through, that's for sure. Oh, deadly and devastating. All because you didn't kill the worker scout earlier, man, I'm telling you. All this could have been avoided. Yeah, when there's an engram phalanx along this line, I think the formation is coming up as an L for ThunderSlaps. That's actually an attackable position, but you don't really want to do it with melee units. The Matrix will be feasting upon you. Skither cores have been made. Not the scariest army. He's making a lot more, though. If he can actually come in with like 30 skiths, he could just wipe the mineral lines, and then you got your SOL if you're in the position... Oh! If you're in the position of Sosij. I can't imagine that working out that way. He's killing his own stasis cell so he can use the back path. That does make some sense. All right, let's see. How much? What are we at for skith count? He's at about 13. He's making a lot more. Waypointing a lot more. Yeah, he does need a ridiculous number, though. To crack the defenses that are in that 2 o'clock, which is the main mining base right now for our Protoss player. And, of course, he's going to get scouted out. The Storms and the Hallucinate, those are the biggest deals. Let's see what ThunderSlaps commits to. He ends up losing 2 on the approach. He still has 15 besides. Don't fight it. No! Oh my god, the Storm is just waiting to kill everything. And the Asiliants are obviously going to be happy with that. That's not what you do with them. GG, LOL. A painful lesson for ThunderSlaps as Sosij was getting ready to be the only player to ever take this base. Holy moly. What a match on Acid Test, guys. That's like probably the best match that I've seen. Well, there was a really good match between Indy and Mixu in a show match on Acid Test. But as far as recent history, I guess if you discount that show match, man, what a glorious match. Guys, thank you for watching. And you should thank me for watching that one. Because, again, I had to go find this one. I didn't even see. I'm just like, hey, look, Sosij and ThunderSlaps. That'll be a good game. Damn fucking right it was. Subscribe for more if you aren't already. We got more coming soon. I'll see you then. GG.